Welcome to the She's an Asset podcast. This podcast is for the woman who is successful on the outside, but knows she's meant for so much more on the inside. Here we talk about leadership, intuition, and the kind of power that changes everything. If you are ready to become the most powerful version of yourself, then this is for you. Welcome home. Welcome to the She's an Asset podcast. I'm really excited. You are doing car talks with me and Charity. Cha-cha. I'm excited for this. So, Charity, nobody knows who you are yet. Can you introduce yourself?
Introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Charity. I am from New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, love it, love it. Moved out to California for a little bit. Came back. I have 3 children. Love them dearly. They're all my favorite. And I am a firearm instructor, trainer, coach, mentor, you name it. I think that putting any one label on it isn't a good thing because everyone needs something different. And so when you meet your students where they're at, then you know what you can, share with them, sharing knowledge. So I'm a knowledge sharer
Where did you live in Cali?
in Burbank,
Where's that?
in the area, right outside of LA. I went out there for college. Yeah, and then I stayed for 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah. So I was there for all the good earthquakes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but there's something about New England when you have it in you, the roots call.
Yeah.
So I needed to come back and have 4 seasons, and I would never live anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and that's how I met Charity, is I met her through firearms, actually.
Yeah.
Because so when I got my firearms instructor license through Barry in the USCCA in New Hampshire, you were my girl.
I'm the girl.
And we had only 2 guys in the class, by the way. And yeah, you were incredible. And so so Charity, where do you spend the majority of your time? Like, what do you do?
I'm retired, so I do everything. My calendar is as full as you can get. A little bit of crafting, a lot of family time. I love meeting girls at the range or kind of just mentoring anyone through any process that they're going through.
Yeah.
Whether you're starting a business, you're a homemaker, you're a entrepreneur, whatever. I'm kind of a sounding board. I call it a whiteboard because a whiteboard, you put stuff up on a whiteboard and you can constantly change it as you progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Charity, what did you retire from?
A lot of different things, but the latest one was working for the town.
Really?
I was a recording secretary, and yeah, I worked for all of the departments, all of them. Yeah, volunteer at the lunch at the elementary school too.
With your kids?
Yeah, I do a character called Miss Vegetable, and Miss Vegetable comes to the elementary school, and she has you try all sorts of vegetables.
That is awesome.
So the kids come up preschool right through 5th grade. And I would have them try broccoli or cauliflower and ask them which flavor tastes better, the white or the purple.
Really?
Yeah.
You're hilarious.
So that was like one of the little things. I'm part of the Pelham Bluebird Society.
What's
We
that?
have it's the preservation of the eastern bluebird, and we have bluebird sanctuaries throughout the town. So we started the Pelham Bluebird Society.
Oh my God, I love you.
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
Okay, but here's my thing. This is why I love Charity, and this is why I want everybody to get to know about you, is when we were having a conversation and getting to know you. And I said, so Charity, tell me more. And you just said, Autumn, life is meant to have fun. And if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. But if it's fun, I'm in.
100%.
Which is why we're in my car having a podcast. We could be in some place sitting normally, but who wants to be normal when you can do this?
No normal ever. Live it big.
And so, Charity, another thing I just absolutely love about you and what you're up to is you're so focused on women's empowerment. You align perfectly with the She's an Asset movement.
Yep.
Because you're doing things, you're out there, you're creating programs, you're supporting women. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're up to? Because I just know there's going to be women in New England and beyond who are going to be like, what is this girl doing? I want to be a part of it.
I think that there's a lot of really hungry women out there for information and to be self-empowered, just like your program is amazing too. I just kudos to this lady. I think she's rock star, superstar,
Thank you.
you name it, she's out there. It's all about having that conversation and creating space and creating the ability, or just letting women know they have permission to have time of on their own.
Mhm.
And sometimes other women have to say, I give you permission, or just like
Mm.
show up, whatever you're doing today, show up for yourself,
Mhm.
because that's what it's about, creating spaces for women. What I'm involved in right now is a really fabulous group. It's called Pearls.
Pearls.
It's Pelham Elite Armed and Resilient Ladies Society.
And look, and she even gave me this is
This
what
is our pledge.
this is the pledge.
We have a
And they have
pledge.
pins.
We have pins. Yes,
Look,
we have
she's
a where's the oh, there's my pearl pin.
can you see it? Oh my gosh. So
Yeah,
they're like the Girl Scouts but grown up.
we are.
No.
And we are, but what it is, Pelham Elite Armed and Resilient Ladies Society.
Love
It's
it.
it's part of Pelham Fishing Game in Pelham, New Hampshire, and it's open for anybody that's a member of that club. So it's not some kind of group. We're not trying to drum up membership numbers. We're not trying to line anyone's pockets. It's women that are already wanting to show up for themselves. We have an extra space for them at the range.
I love it.
And the range has everything you could possibly imagine. They're growing. Through our group, we started a lending library. We do a little bit of social, we do shooting. We have a cadre of really fabulous female instructors in there as well, always seeking to gain more knowledge for themselves to be able to share.
Mhm.
And that's what it's about. It's about sharing. So we do a little bit of everything. Pistol skills. Not everybody owns their own equipment yet.
Mm.
So what we
Mm.
do is we provide a space for them to try the buffet, is what we
Mhm.
call it, a little bit of everything. I don't know. We did cookie decorating for Valentine's Day,
How was it?
and it was really yummy and delicious. It was one of the women, her daughter runs the Foley Farm Baking Company,
Hmm.
and she creates these fabulous masterpieces. So she brought in some little
Mm.
equipment shaped
Hey.
doo doo doo
I did see them,
cookies.
and the
Yeah,
cookies looked amazing.
yeah,
They
and they're
did.
delicious
Yeah.
too. Just a bonding time.
Yeah.
Some people have said, "Oh, you have to have a pin and you have these pledges, and what are you trying to do?" Actually, I think the pin is more of a reminder that there's other women out there. It's a string of pearls, is where we're going with that. It's not a matter of, "Oh, you have to take a pledge. You have to, you have to, you have to, and have one
Mm.
more responsibility." It's more of a, "Hey, we're taking a pledge all together as women to be kind, create that space, and bond together." And wearing that pin, I just am going to bring that.
It's
Wearing
okay. You can bring the microphone. It's fine.
wearing this pin is just a reminder that I know that there's other women out there that are doing the same thing. And a pearl is born from grit. It's
Mm.
born from tenacity and staying right in a place where something is trying to expel it and be an adjutant, not an adjutant to the world, but just to anything negative to
Mhm.
create something beautiful. And so pearls is very much resilient.
It's incredible. And
Yeah.
I took the class that I took, you had some pearls in that.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
they're very passionate about this, and it was really inspiring.
Yeah.
Um, which is why I'm just so glad to be here with you and get to know you more. Charity, how I want to know, like, how did that happen? Like, what have you gone through that leads us? I mean, she does all this stuff like for free, by the way. Like she's
I'm retired.
right. So so really it's coming from your heart. And so I'm just curious, like, what did you go through to, because a lot of times we go through something tough in order to create and give back the way that somebody like you do.
I think everybody has a little bit of a story, and I think a lot of us have, had some sort of relationship gone bad, that you found yourself suddenly in a place that you didn't ever think that you would be. And then you beat yourself up for being in that position because you know that you're stronger. And not everybody knows how to come out of that. And I have always had that. I'm an only child, but I wasn't the only child that was spoiled with stuff. I was spoiled with experiences. And
Hmm.
so I learned a lot along the way. I'm thankful for everything that I have kind of gone through and come out from. I tend to meet up with women I don't know where it comes from, but I'll just be sitting and talking, and next thing I know, they're pouring out a story or something, and I'm talking with them and mentoring them. So creating a space for women to do that in an everyday life and be able to be a conduit to connect that one. When I see this one might be able to use the guidance of that one, I start connecting the women together.
Mm,
And yeah, I don't know, it's that bead, it's that string, it's that the conduit kind of a thing.
that's really cool.
Nothing horrible and terrible that I can think of. Yeah, there's always that story.
Right.
The story doesn't define who I am, and I'm thankful to be beyond that, and I
Yeah.
have a fabulous family, and my children are
Yeah.
my stone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yep,
And so I'm an only child. Did you know that?
yeah, no.
Yeah. So that's so cool. Yeah.
Really?
I don't meet often a lot of only children, so that's pretty cool. Um, and so let's go back to when was the first time you like shot or got around firearms or safety training?
That was back in 2008. This is a fun one. I was the anti-gun girl. I
Really?
moved from California because we were at a park and I heard a gunshot and I said, "That's it, I'm out of LA." I had my son and he was, uh, must have been 8 months old or 9 months
Um,
old, or no, you know what? He was a little bit older because we were at the park. So he must have been a year because he was toddling around. Um, and I heard a gunshot and I said, "That's it. I'm not going to be raising a family in a place that has that type of thing." And we were in Burbank. It's not even any place that you would consider dangerous. But hearing that, that was it. I went online. There wasn't a lot of stuff online at the time that we were thinking this back in the 90s. But anyway, then I ended up back in New Hampshire. And as my son got older, he was involved with the Boy Scouts. And of course, when my kids are involved in something, I throw myself in things as well. So I was part of the commissioner for the state of New Hampshire with the local Boy Scout in my town. They were going to be going and shooting rifles at the Boy Scout camp.
wow.
And I said, "My son is going to shoot rifles." I'm against guns completely. As he was growing up, I was the one that would call the other people and say, "Do you have guns in the house?" Literally to their face. "Do you have a gun in your house? My son's not coming over."
Really?
That was how I was not even into it. If you're going to have a gun, it was a shotgun to go do, a sport.
Yeah.
But guns in the home, no, 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 no. Then he was going to be doing this thing. So I said, I better get myself trained. Went
Mm,
to Pelham Fishing Game
in New Hampshire.
in New Hampshire.
Hmm.
And that was in 2008. I took a safety class. It was like a women on target thing. I found that it was actually amazing, and I felt wonderful knowing the mechanics and knowing how. It
Yes.
took the mystique out of the firearm itself,
Hmm.
and so I loved it. I surprised the heck out of myself. The more I learned, the more I understood that the safety was in the individual
Yes.
and not just the gun going bang.
Hmm.
And so 2 years later, I took an NRA instructor class because I wanted to share that information and apologize to the people that I had called out
Ah!
and said, "Now I know."
Now I
And
know.
yeah, so I took my first instructor certification in 2010. Raised my children with a span of time and then got back into it, and class after class and certifications and everything I could. And yeah, slowly ended up to where I am now.
And so do you teach classes?
I do.
What do you teach right now?
I teach a little bit of everything, whatever the person's looking for.
Hmm.
I do anything from pistols, rifles, shotgun. I'm still learning myself, but eventually, maybe I don't know. I do less than lethal things as well, pepper spray, tasers, and stuff like that.
In the burnout?
Yep,
Are you
yeah,
certified?
I am.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Through the USCCA, I
Yep.
am. They have they're calling it the non-lethal. I don't like to use absolutes because I just don't.
Hmm.
But that has the taser and the pepper spray and the launchers in that. So
Wow.
there's a local store, and I went in and said, "Hey,
Hey.
yeah,
Wow. Okay. And so That's so funny. I didn't know that you were the anti-gun girl.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah,
Girl.
big girl. I was that girl, and now
Girl, I was
now I'm
that
the one
girl!
having the conversation with women and saying, "Have you ever held a gun? Do you know the mechanics of it?" What I found in my life was understanding the mechanics and working with it and hearing all the safety that you do when you're handling it, just like a knife or scissors or your stove or anything. It dispelled that for me. Mm.
I have to ask you because obviously I've never been that girl. I grew up in rural Maine and guns were a thing. At 20 years old, I become a police officer. And so, I'm like, what drove you to not like guns?
Well, my grandfather was a trap shoot guy, and he would go around, and I just recognized rifles and shotguns as the gun that you would have in your home. Living in LA, I was 17 when I moved out there, so right out of high school, and it was all the gang members that had guns. And so when you hear anything about guns in LA, you just have a negative spin on what that is. And for me, the negative spin was police officers have handguns and bad guys have handguns. I didn't
Mm,
even at that age when I was out there take into account that, responsible adults would also own a handgun.
hmm.
Never even was crossing my mind, and even when
Wow.
I had my son, it was a shotgun's okay, a rifle's okay, but a handgun, mm-mm, you're either a cop or a bad guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, that's good to know because I
yeah,
didn't. And so what, when you went there, because this is important because there's women listening to this who don't love guns,
yeah.
right?
I get it.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering, okay, so maybe that's what they think, or maybe they think that the gun will just go off, and if you're untrained, that's very reasonable because I was used to be very nervous around firearms until I went trained and learned, okay, well, this has to happen and this has to happen and this is how we prevent that, right?
Mhm.
But you hear all these stories of a toddler shooting themselves or all these things, and it's absolutely devastating, but you have to learn the mechanics. You have to learn the safety around it in my mind.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I think when you understand that, but it's getting to the point of wanting to learn.
Mhm.
And I think that it's important that everybody understand that because there's so many news stories, there's so many bad things on the news, and if you're not knowledgeable yourself, then you're just taking everything secondhand. And as women, we don't do any of that with any other aspect of our life. We want to know firsthand what's going on, how it's done. Why wouldn't you want to learn about the mechanics of the firearm? Coming to the classes that I mentor, coach, teach, instruct, whatever,
Mhm.
I don't spend a lot of time on that aspect. I
Mhm.
spend a lot of time on the situational awareness end of it and being just present in your life as you're walking around.
Mhm.
Then we get into nomenclature, the safety. I always say that the firearm is the last resort for anything ever, ever. I
Yes.
don't just because I, enjoy the shooting sports doesn't mean that I'm walking around going guns, rah, rah, rah.
Right.
That's not it.
Same.
And I think that that's also something that women think is if you're into guns or you have that, like, oh, you're into guns. Oh,
Mhm.
and they roll their eyes.
Right.
What they don't understand also is maybe if you learned about the mechanics, learned the safety, a lot of times when you're taking those first shots, it's very quiet, it's very internal, and it's kind of taking a step that you didn't think you would take.
Mhm.
Just like, and I'm gonna do this, and I know that some women won't understand this or some people don't. It's much like yoga,
Mhm.
and in yoga, you have to show up present. You have to be ready to leave everything in the parking lot and
Mhm.
not bring anything negative into that sacred space. You have to just internally be ready to receive the information, take that breath work, understand there's people around you, but you're present for yourself in that moment with
Mhm.
what you're doing with your body mechanics. Very similar to firearms. Leave all of it in the parking lot, and I say that to women when they show up for the range. Everyone is wearing a bunch of hats. We all have a bunch of cloaks. Leave all of those things in the parking lot. It'll all be in your car and in the trunk when you
Mm.
get back out. show up on the range for that half an hour or an hour just for yourself. Be selfish with your time. You're allowed to be selfish. We give so much energy to so many people
Oh,
during
truly.
our day.
Mm-hmm.
So show up during that time,
Mm-hmm.
and you might recognize that when you're handling that firearm, that you are only in that bubble. You're very aware of your breath. You're very aware of everything you're doing
Mm-hmm.
with your hands and body. And it's much the same thing of being in that quiet zone. And the only thing that you're thinking about is the firearm and that target.
It's so good. It's so true. And I think, yeah, yes. And I think trainings like the ones that you put on, the ones that I put on, you know, like you said, the firearm, it's just a component of like it's literally a component of our fundamental firearm safety training I do with SRT concepts. We really go and I call it humanize the weapon for women because
Hmm.
there's been so much buildup in their minds, right? Or, just fear. I've had a lot of women just come take the class who've never handled a firearm, but they're just like, I'm so afraid. Like, and it's like, no, I don't want you
Oh,
afraid. I want you empowered. You don't have to carry. You don't even have to own one if you don't want to, but
yep,
just know. Just
correct.
know because you never know when you're going to be in a situation where just having those skills and that knowledge could save a life, could save your life, right?
Correct, correct. If you find yourself in a situation where something is sliding across the floor, at least if you don't want to shoot it, know how to unload it and use it
Yes.
as a bludgeon.
Yeah, exactly.
At least know
Hit him
how to use it
upside the
as
head.
something.
Yes.
Um,
So good.
but well, that's why, everything has a button. It has movement and buttons, and just knowing kind of where they are. And I've heard this a lot, and I'm not the one that came up with it, but like when you get into a car and you sit down for the first time, you check out where the headlights are, where are the wipers, where's the gas pedal, how many
True.
pedals are there, how
Yes.
does the seat feel? It's the same thing with anything. You try
Mhm.
on shoes.
Mhm.
Do they lace? Do they buckle? Do they snap? Do they Velcro? Do they zipper? What do they do? It's all just about learning the mechanics of that stuff. And I think that that knowledge in anything that you do dispels fear, and it puts you in control when you understand where everything is.
And I love that. And I also love I love your position on it is very similar to mine. Whereas I want women empowered. That doesn't mean I'm pushing for every woman to carry or
Oh,
go buy a gun.
no.
That's very, very important. And there's some people who are like, go every woman should carry and every woman should buy a gun. And I think that's really important is talking about the fact that, we don't it's not all about you must carry and you must shoot and all of these things. I think, we see two extremes, especially social media, right? Like we
Oh,
see the two extremes of, um, we have way over here, guns, everybody like shoot everything. And then we have way over here, which is, no, we hate guns, get guns away. But I think it sounds like this is your message. I know my message is what's really important is the middle ground and just become educated so that you can then make educated decisions, not decisions in fear. What do you think?
I did absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. I didn't start my firearm journey based off of fear. I started my firearm journey based off of wanting more knowledge. And I think wanting more knowledge in anything that you do is the responsible thing to do. And if you haven't had a firearm, or you haven't experienced a safety class or done any of those things, I think that that's a good place to start rather than just listening to the social media about the fear, 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 or this gun did this or that person did that. Understand what it takes with the mechanics of it. Understand the nomenclature. That's a big thing in the world out there. There's a lot of
Can you explain
fear
that?
words. There's a lot of fear words with a magazine. Why did they have, 10 rounds in a magazine? Well, that's kind of the normal size to have in a semi automatic. And if you take a firearm class, you'd understand the different nomenclature that goes with it, or this is the normal for that firearm.
Mhm.
Something that we talk about if somebody were to want to carry to protect themselves is how many rounds does a police officer carry to protect us? How does that equate to my life?
Mhm.
But anything with uh, personal defense, you only do what's right for you.
Mm.
A firearm isn't the answer for everybody, and
Right.
I wouldn't promote that for everybody.
Exactly.
Just in your home, figure out what gap you could have, and maybe it's creating a safe room for yourself, that you have the extra screws in the um,
Hmm.
in the door, or the extra lock, and you have the spare phone. You have your keys on a glow stick, so you could throw them out the window so the police can get in the house, and that's where you barricade yourself, and you create a door that's barricading. Everything is different for whoever you
Yes.
are.
And that's what I love so much, Charity. And that's like really what I appreciate about you is we share the same position. Whereas like I always teach in my classes, like you gotta know yourself. You need to become self-aware. I mean, I've had so many women in my classes be like, yeah, I could never shoot somebody. That's fine. Become educated, know how to, like you said, disable it, handle it if you have to, and then know yourself enough to know, like, no, I could do this or I could do this. And like, what are the skills and the systems that you need to put into place for yourself? I think that's really key and very important. Um, Charity, one thing I really want to talk a little bit more about is your push on women's in these groups that you're doing. It's so much more than just safety. And it's so much more than just firearms. And I think that's really important. She's an asset as a women's empowerment and leadership training. The safety training is literally just an arm of what we do. And it seems like it's the same with you. I remember us chatting a couple of weeks ago and you guys are putting together a cookbook. Like, yeah, like it's just so cool. Like, but so can you talk to me? Tell me other things like, because there might be some women listening to this who really aren't super excited about firearms, but like really could use some like women's empowerment. Like, tell me more about what you do. And you've done other groups and you've done a lot. It hasn't been simply, you didn't start at the Pearls.
No,
Right.
no. Uh, Actually, it started a few years ago, where I wanted for myself everything. This is going to sound kind of selfish and funny, but everything that I'm doing with the women are things that I want to do in my life, and I'm just dragging them along to have some
Mm-hmm.
fun. And then finding out what they would like to do and saying, let's just do it.
Right.
Like, why wait?
Right.
Yeah, no, I started a few years ago because I was coming back into firearms and getting myself trained. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to have a women's group where we have a blend of maybe the yoga, a blend of the firearms, a blend of fun, but protection, because we're all women, whether you're a grandmother, an aunt, you have children, don't have children, whatever the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good to have a community based group, so that your sisters and you're all trained the same way, so that if you see something, you can say something, you can intervene, you know what to do. And that turned into me going online after I created this whole business approach. Then I went online and I found national organizations, and there's a couple of them. I was involved with one of them for about 3 years. I was the leader of that one,
Wow.
and recently stepped aside. It took about 5 months to go through the process to create the Pearls group. And
Wow.
that was a year and a half ago. I went to the board at the fishing game and I said, it makes sense, instead of having a national group at this local level, to have the local voice be at our local club.
Mm.
National voice doesn't always share our state's mottos or our state's direction, and so no matter what state you're in, it's good to have a local group that understand what's happening there.
I love that.
So that's where that kind of started. And as far as blending it, yeah, I put a list out at the very beginning. I'm working with a great group of ladies. We have a few leadership ladies. We call them the Vanguard. We don't want to call them the board or the presidents or anything. We're all in it together, just like the group is. And we had a list of things to go through. What would you like to do? We took that, we structured the year, and then we said, all right, now let's throw some fun stuff in there.
I love it.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And we're going within our group called Perladex. So it's kind of like a Rolodex, and it's run similar to the Masons, where everybody has something that they do, or a superpower, or they know somebody that's a woman run business. And we're putting those together in a listing, so that
Mm.
if you want to have a real estate agent or insurance broker or anything, you have the resources for it. And we have a lending library, like I said earlier, the Pearls of Wisdom.
Mm.
And that's where we have different books that aren't always carried at the library. That's something we go through. And the cookbook that you mentioned is hysterical because we had a potluck at the end of the year and some women brought in some delicious things. And it was like, oh, we should, create a cookbook. Ha ha ha. Shouldn't we do it? And I'm like, let's do it. So every month we're collecting recipes. And at the end of the year, we'll have it.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Charity, what do you see? What is the number one when you've worked with women nationwide, locally? What do you see like when women are coming in? Where are they like feeling not super powerful? Like what are they coming in? What's their pain that they're in?
There's a lot of different, and it depends on the age, the stage, or the phase that they're in. And that is something that has been following us around for years now. It depends on where you're at in your life, where you are in your journey. A lot of women
Mm.
come in because they just want to know, or they just want to know. They want knowledge. There's a blend of people that would like to learn more about home protection or carrying,
Yep.
and once they go through the class and they understand the nomenclature, and we tell them it's not just about having your grandfather's firearm in your house. It's
Right.
not just having your husband's or boyfriend's or girlfriend's or whatever gun in the home. It has to feel right for you personally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something else that not everybody that's in our group, even though they're members of this fishing game club, not everybody owns their own equipment yet. And we tell them, don't go and buy something, try everything before
Try
you buy it,
first.
and try it
Oh.
multiple days, because you might have some, salty food and you're puffy when you go to try it. It doesn't feel the same in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas another day it might be raining, or it might be a cycle, or it might be whatever. So try them multiple times. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just go once and then walk out
Mm-hmm.
like you might with a pair of shoes just because you want the shoes. You can't do that.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. Yep. It's a
Yeah.
blend. So to answer your question directly, there is no direct answer. There's no definitive. It's the age all thing. It depends. It depends on where they're at.
What do you feel like because you say that you mentor and you lead and teach a lot. What advice are you giving, would you say? Like what are the things that you're consistently giving out for advice in your mentorship?
I think ages, stages, and phases.
Really?
It may not be the same today as it was yesterday for why you were either shooting or not shooting, or defending your life or not defending your life, and you don't know where the future is going to lead. All you can do is be in the present and allow yourself to be in the present. A lot of it isn't even about firearms. When I'm talking to women, it's not even about firearms.
Right.
It's allowing yourself to learn something and setting aside that time specifically for you.
Yeah.
And what I do, even with myself, is I put an appointment on the calendar, and I just say I have an appointment, but it's actually an appointment for me. And if I choose to just sit and stare at the paint dry on the wall, or like go garden,
Mhm.
getting into the earth and gardening is something fabulous. Reading, talking to a friend. I try to make it just something that's my own,
Yeah.
that's quiet time, so my brain can reset and then I can feel recharged and ready to face whatever it is. But I think we all have at least a half an hour in a week.
In a way, yeah.
Find it for yourself. We give so much to so many people.
Mhm.
So as far as advice, that's the advice. Ages, stages, phases, and allow yourself to have that time for you.
It really is about allowing ourselves to have that time. It really becomes a self-worth thing in my mind. And we can break it down and we get very busy and the children and our spouses and everything comes ahead of us, right? But you can't pour from an empty cup. And if you're walking around feeling disempowered or in some sort of fear, what are you teaching everybody else around you? And that's really important. And I'm in your face about it, and I'm very blunt, but it's the truth because you're going to pass that along to your kids. That's what they're going to they're learn,
That right there.
right?
Yep.
And then you're also
Yeah.
teaching everybody else how to treat you,
Oh,
and right. And so it's like, no, we need you to put yourself, and like you said, it could be a half an hour a week, but geez, I hope it's a half an hour a day. But like really cut out some time for yourself and whatever that looks like. And I think also like what's coming up for me as you're talking is really, ladies, anybody who's listening to this, who's, maybe you're into firearms, maybe you're not. It doesn't even matter what you're afraid of. Lean into it a little bit. Right? So if it happens to be firearms, lean into that a little bit and find a safe way for you to explore that. Maybe you're interested in some sort of horseback riding. You're a horse girl.
Oh, yeah.
You see,
Yep.
she's a horse girl.
Yep.
You guys know I'm a horse girl. You know that Winnie is my man. By the way, he is turning 10 on March 3rd. So this may have already gone out, but yeah, my boy is turning 10. It's a very big deal.
Aww.
On March 3rd. I'm decorating a stall.
I can't wait to see pictures of that.
My boy. But it could be even simple as like horseback riding. What I have found, Charity, is I see a lot of us and I see it in myself. What scares me, we tend to try to avoid. But what I've done in my life, I purposely am like, okay, I'm afraid. I guess I have to go do it. All right, I'm shitting my pants. I got to lean into it, right?
Yeah.
And explore that. I really believe that on to some level, our fear is guiding us in showing us where we can get exploratory when it comes to not like fear, like when we're in a situation, but I'm more talking about like when it comes to different things we might want to explore, different hobbies and stuff.
That's funny that you say that, because the class that we were in and the other Pearls ladies, there's a couple ladies that were there that I said to them as I was telling them about this class, they had it kind of on the radar, but not really for themselves. And I said, I'm not talking to the girl that's standing in front of me. I'm talking to the girl 6 months from now who's going to look back and wish that she did this now. And so it's kind of like, you've got to look at yourself and say, is this something I'm going to regret? But then again, you let the other voice talk you out of things like that. So always the first instinct and the first, like, be that child, be the child that jumped in and had the fun. And why not? Like, when you sit back and think about it, we're in a big wide world. If you look up at the stars, it's beyond the scope of anything. And we laugh at the little ant carrying the crumb, but here we are walking around in our world with all of these heavy things. Why?
Right.
Put it down and
so
do
true.
something for yourself.
It's so true.
Anything for yourself. I took up crocheting for,
Did you knit that?
that.
Did you crochet that?
I crocheted it.
What?
Yeah. But that was my sitting by myself. I literally would do something with my hands and my brain would be able to relax. And this was my appointment with myself, was starting to crochet.
See, I love that.
Yeah.
That scares me. I've tried so many times. I could think of all the things that I could do with the crochet needles to hurt somebody.
Yep.
Like that's like where my head goes. I'm like, mess with me. I'm a crocheter. Like,
wear it in your bun with the hook.
I know. I love that. I did when I used to waitress. I used to actually I put my pens in my hair.
Yeah.
Charity, where can people find you? Like they're gonna love you. Your energy is so contagious, and they need to know, where can they find you?
info@centeredfire.com.
Love that. Do you have a website?
No. I do. You know what? I navigate my world, and if I run into you, then you'll have my contact information. And then I don't advertise stuff. Everything is just kind of friendships and meeting people along the way. And I think the world presents people when it's time that you need to meet them, and you learn from them and either move on or stay connected. And
I love that. It's really something to be said about somebody who doesn't promote, but yet they literally know everybody and impact hundreds and hundreds of lives, which is incredible. Charity, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we are in the talks of putting together an event in Nashua. She's trying to get me to go to Nashua. I'm very scared. No.
She shouldn't be scared. Please.
So,
please.
So ladies, if you're interested, this is going to be very much a women's empowerment and self-leadership event. We're going to put in the show notes. We'll have some information about the dates. If that's something that you're interested in, let us know. Charity's email is in the show notes as well. So all you got to do if you want to go and just say, hey, Cha-Cha, that's her nickname. Really enjoyed that, episode. Really enjoyed getting to know you. Please email her. Please reach out. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the She's an Asset podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the She's an Asset podcast. If you wouldn't mind, could you please share this out? The only way we grow and I can get this out to as many people as possible is with your help. So we're kind of in this together. And the good thing is I know you have my back. So I want to say thank you and ask for you to share the show. And if we're not hanging out in the socials, I hope that you'll come and hang out with me. I'm Autumn Clifford pretty much everywhere. Thank you so much. See you next time.